The day I discovered my husband was cheating on me started like any other Tuesday. I left work early because a meeting had been canceled. The rain was falling softly as I drove home, thinking about surprising my husband, Ethan, with his favorite dinner. We had been married for 6 years. At least I believed we were happy. As I unlocked the front door, I heard laughter upstairs. A woman's laughter. For a second, I smiled. Olivia must be here, I thought. Olivia was my best friend. We had known each other since college. She was practically family. She had been my maid of honor at my wedding. Then I heard Ethan's voice. Soft, intimate, different. Something felt wrong. My heart started pounding as I quietly climbed the stairs. The bedroom door wasn't fully closed. I pushed it open, and my entire world shattered. Ethan and Olivia were in my bed. For a moment, nobody moved. Nobody spoke. The room felt frozen. Then Olivia grabbed a blanket and screamed my name. Ethan jumped up. Babe, wait, wait, wait. I stared at them, the two people I trusted more than anyone else in the world. And suddenly I felt nothing. No tears, no screaming, no drama. Just silence. I turned around and walked out. Behind me, Ethan kept shouting, Please let me explain. I drove aimlessly for hours. When I finally parked near a lake outside the city, I sat there until sunset. My phone was exploding with calls. Ethan, Olivia, over and over again. I ignored every single one. At midnight, Ethan sent a message. It was a mistake. I laughed. A mistake. People accidentally send emails. People accidentally miss trains. Nobody accidentally has an affair. The next morning, I contacted a lawyer. I didn't tell Ethan. I didn't argue. I didn't cry. I simply started preparing. 3 days later, Ethan came home carrying flowers. He looked exhausted. I love you, he said. I looked at him calmly. No, you don't. His face turned pale. For the first time, I saw fear in his eyes. Over the next few weeks, I learned things that made the betrayal even worse. The affair hadn't lasted a few weeks. It had lasted almost a year, nearly 12 months. Family dinners, birthday parties, weekend trips. Every smile had been a lie. Every hug had been fake. And Olivia? She had listened to me cry about marriage problems while secretly sleeping with my husband. The betrayal cut deeper than any knife ever could. One evening, my lawyer called. There's something interesting you should know. I listened carefully. Ethan had secretly invested a large amount of money into a business project, a project he never told me about. The problem? Part of that money legally belonged to our shared marital assets. He had hidden it. My lawyer smiled. This could change everything. For the first time since the affair, I smiled too. Not because I was happy, because I finally saw a path forward. Over the next month, I acted normal. I didn't fight. I didn't accuse. I let Ethan believe I was broken, weak, defeated. Meanwhile, my lawyer and I collected documents, bank records, contracts, and emails. Every piece of evidence strengthened my position. Then something unexpected happened. Olivia contacted me. She wanted to meet. Curious, I agreed. We met at a small cafe. She looked nervous. I love him, she said. I nearly laughed. She had destroyed a friendship of 15 years and expected sympathy. I didn't ask, I replied. Her eyes narrowed. You know, Ethan plans to leave you. I stared at her. She thought she was hurting me. What she didn't realize was that she had just given me information. Important information. Information my lawyer could use. I thanked her. Actually, thanked her. She looked confused. I stood up and left. A week later, Ethan officially asked for a divorce, exactly as Olivia predicted. He walked into the living room acting confident. I think it's time we move on. I nodded. Okay. His confidence disappeared immediately. He had expected tears, begging, anger. Instead, he got a grimy. The divorce process began, and that's when Ethan discovered something. I wasn't the helpless wife he thought I was. I wasn't fighting emotionally. I was fighting legally. Every hidden account, every secret investment, every financial lie. My lawyer uncovered all of it. Suddenly, Ethan wasn't smiling anymore. Suddenly, Olivia wasn't posting happy photos online. Suddenly, both of them realized something terrible. The woman they betrayed wasn't broken. She was preparing, and neither of them had any idea what was coming next. The first court hearing arrived faster than Ethan expected. He walked into the courtroom wearing an expensive suit, smiling as if everything was already decided. Olivia sat beside him, holding his hand with complete confidence. Every few minutes they whispered to each other, occasionally glancing in my direction with smug expressions. I simply sat quietly next to my lawyer. When the judge entered, the room fell silent. Ethan's attorney confidently argued that the marriage had irretrievably broken down and requested a quick settlement. He insisted Ethan had always been the primary financial provider and that the division of assets should heavily favor him. My lawyer didn't interrupt. He simply stood up, walked to the judge's desk, and handed over a thick stack of documents. "Your Honor," he said calmly, "we have evidence that Mr. Carter deliberately concealed marital assets, transferred joint funds into undisclosed investments, falsified financial disclosures, and violated multiple court reporting requirements." Ethan's smile disappeared instantly. His attorney quickly flipped through the documents. The color drained from his face. This wasn't disclosed before." "It wasn't," my lawyer replied, "because we only recently obtained complete banking records." The judge spent nearly 20 minutes reviewing everything. Every page seemed to make Ethan more uncomfortable. Then came the next surprise. My lawyer requested permission to play several recorded phone conversations that had been legally obtained during the financial investigation. The recordings revealed Ethan discussing ways to hide money before filing for divorce. He laughed while explaining how I would never figure it out. The courtroom became completely silent. Even Olivia looked shocked. Apparently, Ethan hadn't told her everything either. The judge looked directly at Ethan. "Mr. Carter, do you deny these recordings?" Ethan lowered his head. "No, Your Honor." That single answer changed everything. Over the following weeks, investigators uncovered even more. The secret investment Ethan had hidden wasn't failing. It had become extremely successful. It was now worth millions. Because the investment had been made using marital funds, a significant portion legally belonged to me. Ethan had tried to steal it. Instead, he had handed me the evidence. Meanwhile, Olivia began realizing the man she had fought so hard to win wasn't exactly honest. She discovered he had lied to her too. He had promised her luxury vacations, a dream house, marriage. Instead, he was drowning in legal fees, court orders, and financial penalties. Their relationship quickly began falling apart. One afternoon, I received an unexpected phone call. It was Olivia. She was crying. "I didn't know," she whispered. "I didn't know he lied to both of us." I remained silent. "I'm sorry," she said. "I know. I was selfish. I know. Can you ever forgive me?" I looked out the window. Rain tapped softly against the glass. "For 15 years," I said quietly, "I trusted you more than my own sister." She began sobbing. "I know. You didn't just betray my marriage. You destroyed my family." She couldn't answer. "There are some things," I continued, "that an apology can never repair." Then I ended the call. A month later, the final divorce hearing arrived. The courtroom was packed. This time Ethan looked exhausted.
He had lost weight. Dark circles surrounded his eyes. Olivia wasn't sitting beside him anymore. She had left weeks earlier. The judge reviewed the final settlement. Because of Ethan's financial fraud and deliberate concealment of assets, the court awarded me a far larger share of the marital estate than Ethan had ever imagined. I received the house, half of the investment company, several financial accounts, and reimbursement for my legal expenses. Ethan was also ordered to pay additional financial penalties for violating court disclosure rules. When the judge finished reading the decision, Ethan simply stared at the floor. Everything he had tried to hide had cost him millions. As everyone stood to leave, he quietly walked toward me. "I ruined everything," he whispered. "Yes, I loved you." I looked directly into his eyes. "No, you loved having someone who trusted you, but you never loved me." He had no response. He simply walked away. Months passed. I sold the old house because I no longer wanted memories living inside those walls. With my share of the investment, I started my own consulting company. Business grew faster than I ever imagined. Within 2 years, I had more employees than Ethan's old company. Ironically, several of his former coworkers eventually applied to work for me. I hired the ones who deserved the opportunity. Life slowly became peaceful again. Not because I had taken revenge, because I had finally stopped carrying their betrayal. One autumn afternoon, I visited the small lakeside parking spot where I had cried after discovering the affair. The same trees, the same water, but I wasn't the same woman. Back then, I thought my life had ended. Now I understood something much more important. Sometimes the people who break your heart also unknowingly set you free. As I stood there, my phone buzzed with a message from my assistant. "Congratulations! We just signed our biggest client in company history." I smiled, not because Ethan had lost, not because Olivia had disappeared, but because I had won back something far more valuable than money: my self-respect. The greatest revenge was never destroying the people who betrayed me. It was building a life so fulfilling that they became nothing more than a chapter in a story I no longer needed to reread. And as I drove away from the lake one final time, I realized I wasn't leaving behind a painful memory. I was leaving behind the last piece of the woman who once believed her happiness depended on someone else's loyalty. From that day forward, it depended only on her own strength.